Joined with me today, we have some people who are ska enthusiasts, you could say. We are joined with Heather from the band Futon Lasagna. Great band name. I also like futons and lasagna. And then we're also with Eric from the Pioneer Valley Ska Festival. How's everyone doing?
Good, good. And thank you for having us.
Excellent. Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on to talk about this festival. It sounds like it's pretty awesome. So, Eric, kind of like a run down, these details. It looks like it's the third go at it.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, sure. Details. July 24th, July 25th, Springfield, 52 Sumner. We haven't really announced which day the headliners will be, but for the two headliners, we got Buck-O-Nine and Thumper. And then what is it? $35, and that's actually for 2 days of music, which is 30 bands altogether. Yeah, and what is it? Doors are 4:30 on Friday, and doors are noon on Saturday. Those are the most important details. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. A stacked lineup. It looks great, and I don't think you can really go to a music festival for that cheap. Like these days, really, like that's awesome. Is and Heather, you're a part of this too. You are the CEO of Vibes, I'm told. So that's a large responsibility because you have to have the vibes at a festival, and your band Futon Lasagna will also be playing. What's kind of your approach to these types of events?
Yeah, so as CEO of Vibes, I think we're actually raising the bar a bit for other ska festivals because we have, balloon arches and themes and a photo booth and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm in charge of, just kind of making sure everything is awesome and decorations. So the venue is just so cool. There's the upstairs is a church and the downstairs is a gym, like a high school gymnasium type thing.
Okay.
So we had a lot of fun last year, being the first year there, decorating and, making it really, some awesome vibes for a ska festival. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we can probably get into more. I won't give away too much of the theme this year. You're going to have to show up and see what we got this year, but
right. But yeah, last year we had, what did we have? Inflatable palm trees around the circle pit, which was cool. We had a Darth Vader cutout, which made its way around the circle pit and even crowd surfed, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So it should be interesting this year for sure.
How do you, first of all, like what inspired you to kind of like kick this off and begin this festival? Because I can only assume it's quite of an undertaking to do, not only to plan multiple days, but to reach out to bands and organize all this stuff. Like what kind of was the reason that you're doing it? Like it seems like a lot.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's still yeah. So the quick answer is like once I moved from the city, I used to live like in Cambridge, Alston, and then Somerville. So I moved out here to Western Mass, and because of various reasons, there wasn't really like a big scene. We have a couple great bands like Power Up, to Green Street Fiends, stuff like that. But because of politics and other reasons, all the venues kind of shut down. So there wasn't really much going on. So I took it upon myself to start booking shows. So I started booking some small shows here and there. And then I just had, I never really enjoyed festivals. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to do a festival, I want to do one that I kind of would want to go to myself. So that's kind of how it started, just doing shows for myself. Because I was traveling to Boston and other places to go to shows. But I was like, no, you guys need to like come to me. So that's kind of how it started. So I was doing a bunch of small shows, and then I wanted to do one big show in the summertime. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I apologize if you hear this emergency alert going off right now. Currently where I live, I guess we're under a tornado watch. So I'm in a radio station right now. So we have to inform the people, seek shelter.
Okay.
No. Very good. So if I blow away, it was nice knowing you.
All right. Yeah. Ditto.
But Heather, I guess so. Being a part of the organization and everything like that, what and then also balancing your performance and your band on there, like how do you kind of navigate that and balance it? Because there's a priority in both areas. You want to be successful, but you also want to have a kick-ass show too when you're up there. So, like, what's your mindset with all this?
Yeah, that's a great point actually. Because it can be, kind of a long couple of days. So I tend to take breaks, just to kind of get myself ready, try to not overdo it too much. But also we have a lot of help. Really, I didn't blow up every single balloon on my own. Let's put it that way, right? So, it really, I think that's one of the great things about the ska and punk community is that there are a lot of people really willing to pitch in. So we had, our decorating committee and the prep committee, everyone kind of pitched in to help. And, we have folks that are, doing more of the show running and, getting the bands from place to place, and other people that are volunteering. Of course, Eric and others are managing the door. I'm making sure the inflatable palm trees are, top peak. But definitely it's a really good point though, making sure that I also don't want to talk so much, especially if I'm not playing or, not going until the next day. I tend to be a bit chatty. You might know. You might be able to tell now. But so that's one of the things I try to like preserve my voice a little bit. So yeah, I think, yeah, excellent points. But yeah, also don't drink too much, just the right amount, probably.
Right.
And we've got a lot of options at this festival. So I had some nice kombucha and other, options for drinks. So it wasn't exhausted, and some good food too.
I was listening to your demos that you have out on the internet, and they sounded pretty good. They were good. I liked it a lot. I was like, I had not heard about you until Eric mentioned it, but I was like, oh, this band's pretty fun, pretty awesome. So I'd be looking forward to seeing you on the stage. That'd be awesome.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and I talked a little bit about this with David last week or a couple of weeks ago, but it's like I think this resurgence of ska that I kind of been seeing is awesome, and it's important because it's such a fun genre of music. It can kind of be like the clowny, jokey type of vibes, but also very serious, and it's very technical, like musically and everything like that. And I think from an out, like if you're not into the ska stuff or you're just not familiar with it, I think a lot of people kind of think like this is like circus music or something. Like where my daughter always describes it as tropical music. She's like, oh, you can throw on that tropical music. And I was like, you mean ska? And she likes it, but like just like this resurgence that's coming up, and as somebody who is organizing an event like this or is in the ska bands, do you see the same thing that I'm seeing? Do you see more people kind of seeking ska, or do you think it's kind of always been there and we just I haven't seen it enough?
It's in your heart. It's always in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's, even after ska, quote unquote, died and whatever, we're going to say 98-ish, there was still like definitely stuff going on, but it was very, lots on a smaller scale. But fast forward to today, I mean, there are some young bands doing ska again, which is great. Like at the festival, there's this band from Ohio called Sabon, Sabon, and they're actually in high school. They'll be at the festival, which is cool. There's a band out of Long Island called the Going Rates. They're pretty young as well. So so we're definitely hopeful that the young people are getting into ska, which is great.
You're talking about me, Eric. Come Come on.
But yeah, but also with the resurgence, we've had a lot of, I mean, speaking of reunions, like MU330 just did a show. Like a lot of these bands now are getting back together because there is a market for it. People in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s are like, okay, yeah. I used to love it. It's still a thing, and I will go to those shows again. So yeah, I think we have a little bit of everything, nostalgia going on, and we've got some younger people going to the shows and starting bands, which is awesome to see. Yeah.
How do you determine if a band is worth reaching out to, or is it, do you have like a lot of people seeking or reaching out to you and saying, hey, I'd love to play this festival? Because you mentioned a lot of bands from out of the states and everything coming for the festival. How do you find all these people?
So yeah, you can go on.
Well, that's originally how he found Futon Lasagna from a bathroom stall on the wall. That was ages ago. That's a different story. Go ahead.
No, I mean, similar to like back in the 90s where I would just like read the CD inserts for like, oh, which band, who did they thank on the CD, or like what bands they played on, with stuff like that. So I think the new version of that is kind of Instagram for the most part. Like I'll look at flyers, I'll see who's playing with who, stuff like that. I mean, Reddit is mostly bad, but there's definitely some good stuff that I find through Reddit. And typically, I'll just hit up bands and say, usually it's always some form of yo and hello. Do you want to play? Stuff like that, like very simple. I don't really have a formal like submit your band process. I just kind of hit bands up. But now that the festival's grown, I've a lot of bands will hit me up. That's why next year's festival is like 90% booked for next year. Because I've just gotten so many bands to hit me up to play this year. I'm like, well, there's no space, but what about next year? So yeah, it's a little combo of myself just going through Instagram, going through flyers, and then sometimes people are in multiple bands and they'll mention their other band or their friend's band. So it's word of mouth as well. And then of course going to shows, and then as Heather said, going to the bathroom and seeing a sticker or someone just tagged with a Sharpie, their band name, which is always fun.
Absolutely. So this is really like a year-long undertaking then too?
Yeah, I kind of start with the smaller bands ahead of time, because I feel like if you give the smaller bands, here's a year notice, they can start squirreling away some funds because travel is so expensive these days. So I try to give them as much leeway as possible so they can get a couple bucks together. And then usually I'll try to get the headliners about 6 months before the festival. So like the winter kind of before, because the headliners are always tough because they're playing Europe. Like it's the summertime, so that's like festival season. So sometimes it's a little hard to nail down the headliners. But the second, all the other bands, I try to give them, a good lead time.
I was going to add that I think you do a really good job of blending the sort of local bands and sort of regional type bands, and then also kind of across the country and the headliners. So I think there's a really good mix. Like you do a good job of having that sort of diversity.
Yeah, thank you. It's hard taking compliments, but we are lucky we live in New England. So between New England and New York, we've got 30, 40, 50 bands just in that area that we can kind of pull from throughout the year and for the festival. So we're kind of fortunate here versus some other places in the country where they're not so fortunate. Yeah.
Does do you kind of have like obviously like the headliners are going to have a little bit of longer sets, but the kind of what are the set times for most of the bands?
Yeah, typically it's 25 minutes to 35 minutes for most of the bands. If they're traveling from afar, I try to give them a little bit extra, like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But most sets are 25 minutes because we're doing 30 bands. So it's kind of, which that's why we try to backline as much as possible because with changeover and stuff. So
runners, keep everyone.
How do you, so as a musician in a band that's playing, Heather, how do you strategically pick the right set, the right songs for like a 30-minute set? What are you pulling out? The heavy hitters, or just whatever's on your, whatever you feel?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the heavy hitters, especially, if you're kind of, I guess, usually accustomed to about 40 minutes or something, you got to cut a few, but yeah, this is the chance to really be on that stage. I think one of my, some of my favorite memories that I'll take to my grave is, playing that very gig and having people do a circle pit around the inflatable palm tree and, doing the balloons and things like that. So I think also looking at kind of where we are in the set, we were kind of, I think last time we were like mid-afternoon, so it's like, let's go. We're going hard, like we're not ready for a little nap right now. We need to we're going to go with all the fast ones and the ones that get people dancing. If at any time I look out and someone's like resting during our set, that's not,
Right.
I mean, it's okay, obviously take a rest, please. But yeah, usually it's, the ones that make us happy and make the people happy and get them dancing, most importantly.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the third year. What's a band, one that you're like super proud that you got on the bill, and what's a band that you're looking to get on the bill yet in the future?
Oh, right. We can start with bucket list. Every podcast I'm on, I talk about Mike Park. So once again, Mike Park, if you're listening, any Mike Park band, so Bruce Lee band, Skank and Pickle, whatever he wants to do. I know he doesn't love to fly. We'll make it happen. We'll get him a nice bus or limo from California. We'll figure it out.
Train across America.
Exactly. So bucket lists definitely, and then we usually have a couple punk bands as well. So bucket list is Lunatics. They're probably number one, and Bouncing Souls, still waiting for a reply. They haven't replied yet. So
come on, guys.
That'd be perfect. That's that's where they're from. So they gotta
It's
represent.
it's just a couple hours away. Come on, guys. Yeah. I think I don't remember your bucket list, Heather. What was your bucket list?
No, you pretty much covered it.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, Less Than Jake was on our bucket list. At least they replied with a no. They responded very quickly with a no. So, yes,
that's nice. At least they told you.
But bands I'm really stoked for this year. I mean, Buck-O-Nine. I mean, I grew up listening to Buck-O-Nine. I mean, 28 Teeth, I think, is a flawless album. I loved that album growing up. I still love it now. So I'm excited for those guys. And then we were able to get Thumper. I don't know if you're familiar with Thumper, but like they started off in the mid 90s, and they're kind of like a hybrid of like a little bit of metal, like heavy metal, ska. They're all over the place. So they don't do too many shows. So this is like kind of a big deal for everyone. So we're really excited for Thumper. But then also, I mean, my other mission too is just kind of creating a network throughout the whole country of some of these smaller bands. So we've got bands coming from California pretty much all the way through to, West Coast to East Coast. So we got like Voluntary Hazing from California, Horizon Point, the Hot Rails from St. Louis, as I mentioned before, Saban from Ohio. So we're just trying to create this network of all these smaller bands, so they hopefully can all get together down the road and do shows together and do tours together. So that's my other goal, is just getting as many of these smaller bands together. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's a great way to like build community and get the word out, get people exposed in areas that they, might not have been known, outside of their state. So that's great. Where I'm from, so I'm in Wisconsin, but in like a little rinky-dink kind of town. But we used to have a pretty thriving punk and ska scene when I was in high school. And one of the bands that we just that I kind of grew up with just played a show after first show in like I think 10 years, and it was just packed, and it was like it filled my heart with joy. And I was like, yes, like I miss this, and that community aspect of things where you start running into people that start as strangers and you leave as friends, and it's just it's cool. And like these kind of fests are really like the backbone of the scene, I think, and a great way to get a ton of exposure. Some of my favorite bands that I have now are because I saw them at a festival, and I didn't know who they were, but then when I watched them, I fell in love. So like I think we got to keep that going.
Exactly. And I think speaking of high school, one of the things that I love about this, especially the last one and like this upcoming one, is the venue it's not a bar, right? It's not like some big brewery or anything like that. There's
Yeah.
like paintings of like children on the wall, or from children. I mean,
Right.
because it's also like a preschool, like it's a community center. Okay, all right, whatever. But it's also like a community place. So like what better place to hold a festival like this, right? Like a community center where it's used for a preschool and art gatherings, piano shows and recitals and things like that. So I think it's just a really cool way to like you said, kind of bring it back and get those the old school vibes, the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's amazing. And it's good. I do have to cut the show a little this episode a little shorter because of the weather situation. I think people got to get in here and we got to inform the people. But so sorry about that. But how can people how can people get informed about the show? How can they grab tickets, and how can they access Futon Lasagna and all your socials?
I'll go. Okay. Yeah. I'll go for it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. 413 Ska. You can get tickets through my bio. You can see all the bands, the flyers. So yeah, 413 Ska on Instagram. It's the easiest, quickest way. And you can see all the shows, including the next show, which is with the Toasters, Metamoska. Yeah, I said it wrong. Pink Slip on April 24th. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, not similar. Yeah, Instagram is the best way to reach us as well. You can see some flyers. We're hitting up New York City next weekend. So,
oh yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
And
Well,
Drew, stay safe over there. Okay,
we'll be all right. Us people in the Midwest, they thrive in these kind of conditions. I don't know, everyone's always going on their porch and just waiting for it to touch down. It's unusual. I don't know why people do that. I don't. I stay inside, but no, we'll be good. We'll be good. Just another rainy day in old Wisconsin. But I appreciate you for coming on and talking about this. It sounds absolutely amazing. And I wish you all the best of luck and all the success, and look forward to this year, next year, and for the rest of time.
Yes, thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is awesome. Great conversation.